Why are the two of you consistently disregarding my emotions? My anger from the previous day hadn't subsided, so when I confronted them, my tone was more severe than usual. A response: "We're just relocating your belongings to another room. It's spacious and perfect for Sarah's new room." They completely ignored my concerns from the day before and proceeded to remove my possessions without even consulting me. Did you forget what I told you yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now. Samantha, owe your place. I'm the one paying the rent here. What right do you have to oppose my decisions? And Daniel fired back, his voice oozing with criticism. Sarah, standing next to him, wore a smug smile. I'm the one paying the bills. You, who hasn't contributed a single dollar, have no say in this. If you can't follow my decisions, maybe we should just get a divorce. Seeing a different male and point meal, I retorted, adopting the name Sarah, a busy 28-year-old corporate worker married for 4 years to Daniel, my husband of the same age. Daniel, considered a rising star at his company, strives to meet high expectations. First, we reside in a fully renovated, somewhat spacious house initially chosen with thoughts of a future with kids. Despite our ups and downs, we've always communicated openly, and I believe we were happily married. However, that day, I arrived home later than usual due to work, only to find a woman's coat hanging by the entrance, an unfamiliar one. Opening the door to the living room, I was greeted by Olivia, my sister-in-law. Height: Sarah, long time no see. You were late, so we started without you. Just afters to Olivia, 24, Oliver's younger sister, had always been a source of tension between us. That despite her achievements in education and career, she enjoyed looking down on me, often slipping condescending comments. Despite my efforts to let things go, Olivia became more audacious. Having had enough, I decided to cut her out of my life. However, that wasn't the sole reason. Un's behavior towards me also played a significant role. John, typically considerate and mild-mannered when it's just the two of us, becomes condescending when Emily is around. I'm unsure if he's showing off for his sister, but he starts treating me poorly despite my warnings. Emily adds to the mix, questioning my late working hours. Sarah, I always wrap up on time. Are you overwhelmed or just slow at work? Fueled by alcohol. Emily began talking down to me more directly than usual. Dealing with Emily alone is usually bearable, but when my husband, Oliver, who is also her brother, joins in while intoxicated, it becomes unbearable. Come on, Emily, not everyone is as efficient as you. Some people have to work twice as hard just to be average. Look, not many people are as capable as us siblings. We can judge everyone by our standards. Olivia chimed in. You're so right. Sorry, I guess I was being a bit too judgmental. Well, there's no need to apologize. Emily, you are awesome. That's a fact. Now the Oliver before me felt like a different person looking down on me alongside Emily. Despite wanting to fire back, I decided to put on a fake smile to avoid complicating things. Eventually, Emily left just before midnight. I didn't want to clean up so late, especially since the mess was made by Oliver and Emily, not me. However, it's my house, so I knew I had to do it. Look, it's already late. I'm going to bed. You clean all this up, Oliver ordered, seemingly unperturbed. At that moment, I couldn't hold back any longer. What's with that tone? Why do I have to clean everything up? You and Emily made the mess. You clean it up. Why do you expect me to do it right from the start? Don't you think that's strange? Oliver seemed taken aback by my sudden outburst, but became even more stubborn, insisting that I had to clean up. I make more money than you know. Stop giving me lip when you earn less. If you can't listen, then let's just get a divorce. Why are you bringing up money? That has nothing to do with this. You clean up your own mess. Talking about divorce over something like this. Actually, don't you think what you're saying is crazy? Shut up. Just clean it all up. That's your job, he said, stating what he had to say before going to the bedroom. In the end, I cleaned everything up by myself. And the next morning, Oliver was still in a bad mood. Knowing that talking would only worsen things, I'd avoided any conversation with him. Despite my desire to reconcile quickly with Oliver, we both left the house without resolving our issues that day. I ended up coming home late again, and as I walked back into the house, my steps felt heavy. Both work and home life were in disarray, and I knew I needed to resolve things swiftly as the situation was only deteriorating with time. I couldn't afford to be in conflict with James at a time like this. My plan was to apologize to Oliver no matter what he said and make amends. Focused on this goal, I opened the front door only to see the same coat from yesterday. A cheery of familiar voices echoed from the living room, and I thought, you've got to be kidding me. She's here again. As much as I hoped I was wrong, when I walked into the living room, well, Emily was there, just like yesterday, drinking and making a mess with Oliver. Sarah, thank you for working so hard late every day. We started without you because you never seemed to come home. Emily sarcastically commented. I wanted to make up with Oliver right away, but with Emily being there, that seemed impossible. I genuinely felt Emily was in the way, yet no one in the room understood my thoughts. We started because you never came home, even though we waited for you. Can't you come home earlier now? Oliver piled on with Emily's sarcasm. I couldn't understand why I was being blamed for something we never agreed upon. Months ago, I was eager to make up with Oliver, but now my spirit deflated rapidly. Why am I thinking so much for these people? That thought began to sprout in my mind. Unaware of my inner turmoil, Oliver said something outrageous. By the way, Emily will be moving into our house next month. Make room for her by clearing out some of your stuff. Upon hearing Oliver's words, all my pent-up frustration exploded. Hold on. What's this all about? This is the first time I've heard about this. Explain, Oliver. Oliver seemed startled by my sudden change of attitude, but quickly reverted to his arrogant demeanor. Of course, it's the first time you've heard it. I'm just telling you now. And Emily is going to live here. What about her husband? They're not both moving in, are they? Her husband? Oh, you mean her ex-husband? Thanks. What's going on? That the full picture eludes me. Emily recently went through a divorce. Her ex moved out and she's been living alone. Her lease is up at the end of the month. Isn't this a golden opportunity? The space here's ample and we can save on rent. Why didn't you tell me about something so important? Rapidly lost faith in Oliver as he planned this all by himself and informed me, while intoxicated. Well, I confronted Oliver. Emily watched with a snide grin. Just accept it. Sarah, it's already decided. I won't accept it. What are you saying? Oliver? He was taken aback. I won't accept Emily living here with us. The one who's out of line here is you, Oliver. I glared at both of them. I don't know what the two of you are planning, but I absolutely disagree. Sober up and think about what you're doing instead of making up. I retreated to a separate room, spending the day alone, just like yesterday. The next morning, I was awakened by a loud noise. Opening my bedroom door and glancing down the hallway, I saw Oliver and Emily messing around with my stuff and furniture. Still fuming from yesterday, I confronted them more assertively than usual. We're cleaning your stuff from the room. That room is big and perfect for Emily, don't you think? Ignoring my previous objections, they moved my belongings without my consent. Did you forget what I said yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now. Do you even know your place? Oliver, I'm the one paying the rent for this house. What right do you have to oppose what I decide? Oliver retorted in a condemning tone, with Emily watching me with a smug smile. If you can't listen, maybe we should just get divorced. Divorced? This has to be a joke. What on earth is Oliver talking about? I froze, not comprehending his words. He misinterpreting my silence. Emily chimed in. Do you even understand your position? Sarah, you haven't paid a dime. Your arguments have no weight. Why don't you just give up? You're just making yourself look pathetic at this point. Any lingering affection I had for these siblings had completely vanished. I wanted nothing to do with them anymore. That much was clear to me. Let's take this conversation to the living room. I propose we all move to the living room. Initially met with complaints, they reluctantly followed. When it offered to make coffee, I handed them their cups and turned back to Oliver. Look, I've been saying this since yesterday. I didn't agree to let Emily move in, so please pack her things up right now. What are you talking about? I've said this multiple times. I'm the one who pays the rent for this place. It's my house, so you should listen to me. If you can't, we're getting a divorce. Are you okay with that? Hooks Oliver stated arrogantly. You keep saying you're paying the rent. It's your house. But Oliver, do you really believe that? Of course. What are you even talking about? Actually, this is my house. What? Are you lying because you're upset? Oh, lies here. I inherited this house from my dad when he passed away. It became mine. In other words, I own this place. Do you get it now? Oliver was speechless, and Emily, too, was visibly shocked. You're lying. If your dad built it, why is it so new? It should be old, right? Do you know what renovation means? Oliver, my dad had the house fully renovated before he went to the hospital. That's why it looks so new. I never mentioned it to you because it was before we got married. Her confident attitudes from before were gone, replaced by silence. But I wasn't done talking. I come this far. I needed to say it all, whether they got it or not. I've had enough. Even if you're paying rent, this is still my house. Oliver, you're not paying any rent. That's what you've been paying are our living expenses as a couple. Why would I lie at this point? Remember, you left all the housing paperwork to me, so you didn't even know. Do you even know the average rent in this area? You're just embarrassing yourself. If that's the case, I'll start paying the rent from now on. Can you afford that? I'm putting Mr. Unemployed. What unemployed? What are you talking about, Oliver? It seems you've been making some bad choices. Big losses, right? Our company knows. You should worry about that. You'll likely hear from them after the weekend. They probably thought nobody knew. Oliver was clearly rattled by what I've said. Tom, why? Why do you know this? He was so shaken he could barely speak. Onto Biffrentlow, I've kept it a secret, but your company is actually owned by my relatives. They've been lenient, but you've pushed too far. Even the companies decided they can't keep you. They warned me first because it affects me too. Sure, Oliver had become uncharacteristically quiet. Emily, who was listening to my story, was visibly shaken. Hold on a minute. Are you saying Oliver is getting fired? Is this house really yours then? Etchings, where am I supposed to live starting next month? I've already canceled my lease. Fifth story, it was unclear whether Emily's questions were directed at me or Oliver, but she was clearly stunned, struggling to grasp the situation. This is my house and I decide who lives here. At least for now. I can't live with you anymore. Oliver, let's go ahead with the divorce you suggested. You can't take that back now. And just to be clear, I have no intention of living with you either. Emily, where you live for the next month is none of my concern. Actually, just stop involving me in your lives. I wasn't sure if they were really listening, but I had said all I needed to say. From here on, it's their problem and I have nothing to do with it. So put my things back where they were. Extan Polzevais, pack your stuff and leave this house. I don't want to see either of your faces anymore. By the end of the day, I had kicked both of them out of the house. The last time I saw their faces after that, I left all the procedures to my lawyers to avoid any complications. Oliver didn't make any fuss, probably realizing he had no choice. Thanks to that, the divorce went smoothly. I heard they both moved back to their parents' homes. Uncle Oliver ended up with a mountain of debt between the settlement he owed me and damages from his company. he seems to be working day and night to pay it off. As for me, I'm enjoying a relaxed life in the house I inherited from my dad. I plan to savor this freedom for a long time. I relish the newfound tranquility in my home, free from the tumultuous presence of Oliver and Emily. The echoes of their arguments and the tension that once filled the air had dissipated. My days were now marked by peace and serenity, a stark contrast to the chaos that had engulfed my life. The divorce proceedings progressed without major complications, and Oliver's departure meant a fresh start for me. My lawyers efficiently handled the legal aspects, leaving me to focus on rebuilding and healing. The house, once a battlefield of emotions, now embraced a newfound calm. Amidst this tranquility, I reflected on the events that led to this turning point. It's a period of nefictorium statemation about Oliver's employment situation, and the impending financial challenges he faced served as a stark reminder of the intricate web that had entangled our lives. The house, a symbol of stability, had witnessed the unraveling of our marriage. As I navigated through the aftermath, I discovered an inner strength that I hadn't fully realized. But a decision to stand up for myself, to assert my ownership of the house, and to detach myself from the toxic dynamics brought a sense of empowerment. The weight of their burdens was no longer mine to bear. While Oliver toiled to overcome the consequences of his choices, I immersed myself in the peaceful haven of my home. The days unfolded at a leisurely pace, and the house, once overshadowed by conflict, became a sanctuary for self-discovery and healing. I explored new hobbies, rekindled old passions, and relished the simple joys of solitude. The absence of their presence allowed me to redefine the spaces within the house. I rearranged furniture, adorned walls with art that resonated with my newfound sense of freedom, and cultivated an environment that reflected my individuality. As the seasons changed, so did the landscape of my life. I forged connections with friends, rekindled neglected relationships, and embraced a vibrant social life that had been stifled by the toxic atmosphere. The scars of the past gradually healed, and I emerged stronger, more resilient, and ready to embrace the possibilities that lay ahead. The legalities of the divorce settlement were resolved, and Oliver's debts became a chapter of his own challenges. My focus shifted to the future, and the house, once a battleground, stood as a testament to my resilience. The echoes of their voices faded, replaced by the gentle hum of a life reclaimed. In the quiet corners of my home, I found solace and a renewed sense of self. The journey of healing and rediscovery continued, and I embraced the freedom to shape my destiny. The house, once entangled in a web of conflict, now stood as a symbol of my triumph.